And perfect. So, Amy Mahjoory is going to speak to you guys about raising private money. And again, I'm so grateful and thankful that you are here today, Amy. So I will literally turn it over to you, give everybody your introduction, and take it over. And I will only interrupt if there's some questions in the chat or something that people ask.
Okay, cool. Thank you, my lady. I am going to share my screen and then we'll get into it, and I can do just a quick intro for some of you who don't know me. Carolina, hello, my lady. It was great seeing you at Paces. I saw your message. I'm not ignoring you, so I will respond back after this event. I believe you guys can all see my screen. Yes, thumbs up in the chat box. Okay, cool. Yeah, so go ahead and as you have questions, pop them into the chat box, and then I'm gonna wait to answer all the questions until the end. Some of your questions will get answered in the upcoming slides and others will not, because there is so much content. Like Marie said, I created over 70 different rapport and trust building strategies that I have tested and fine-tuned, and I continue to create as of 10 years ago. And so for the sake of time, I'm going to try to get through as much as I can. And we will save as much time at the end as we can for Q&A. So here's the great news, you guys, whether you've raised money before or not, it doesn't matter. You're in the right room. Congrats for being here this evening. And I'm going to show you how to get out there and confidently raise money, regardless of your experience, regardless of your credit, and regardless of your liquidity, without having to depend on your friends and family members. Because there are a lot of educators out there, big name and small, who will say, raising money is easy, just go ask your friends and family members. What if you don't want to, right? What if they're not in a position to invest? What if they don't support you? So that is how we are going to start to implement these strategies. I'm going to show you how to get out there and leverage off the resources around you so that 24/7, your mind is thinking that anyone you encounter is a prospective private money lender. And I'll show you how to open up the door to having those conversations. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Amy Mahjoory. I've been investing in real estate over the last 10 years. And during that time, I've raised millions of dollars in private money. And the result of that's pretty cool. You know, people started coming to me and asking me for help. And sure, in addition to not having to worry about canceling a contract or scrambling to the closing table because of the money problem, people started asking me for help. And this was going on for about 10 years, or I'm sorry, about 8 years. And I kept saying, no, 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 you know, coaching investors on raising private money, that means I have to start a coaching program, and that's so much work. And those of you who know me know that I don't like to work, and I'm not just saying that. I don't. So everything I do is as streamlined and as clear and concise as possible. Well, then what happened was 2.5 years ago, my daughter was born. And my husband and I, we are still living the dream, but we were living a very different dream. We've all heard about lifestyle by design, doing what we want, when we want, with whomever we want, wherever we want. Well, we were doing that. We were both real estate investors traveling the world, keynote speaking. He'd focus on commercial, I'd focus on residential. We were on airplanes, separate airplanes every single weekend. And finally, I was like, you know what? I love this, and I still do that, but I want to have really more control of my time. I don't want to keynote speak for other people. And so I finally said, I will start a coaching program. And so 1.5 years ago, I started a coaching program all about raising private money. If you guys have questions on that, let me know at the end. But it was really a result of investors just asking me for help. They knew that the money problem was never a challenge for me. And it's funny because whenever people hear me say that, oh, raising money was never an issue, they always say, oh, well, that's because you relied on your friends and family members. And I'm very stubborn, for those of you who don't know me. And I lacked a lot of support from my inner circle, from my dad. I lost 2 of my best girlfriends. My dad didn't even acknowledge what I was doing for the first 2 years of my career, after I had turned multiple 6-figure profits, after I'd gone under contract with HGTV. He still wouldn't talk about it. So I took all of that negativity and used it, whether it's right or wrong, as my momentum to prove everyone wrong. I got this and I'm going to do it. So that's how all of these strategies were born and developed. And it's funny because once people found out that I didn't depend on my friends and family members, they're like, okay, then what list did you buy? So I got to try that because still till this day, you guys, I have never bought a list of private money lenders. Um, I'm sure that it works and some people have had success doing it. So if you have, let us know in the chat box. So no, that was not it either. I did not buy a list. So what I'm going to do is whether you've raised money or not, I'm going to open up your minds to a whole new perspective of raising capital in ways that you've never thought of before. And before we get into all that, I want to squash a couple of very common fears and objections and really just showstoppers that prevent investors like us from moving forward and taking action when it comes to raising capital. There are a lot of people out there, and if you've thought this, you guys, this is normal, who think, I don't have any experience, I'm brand new, or maybe I've only done a deal, like no one's gonna lend me money. How in the world am I supposed to get out there and raise capital? Or maybe you're thinking, I've tried raising money, I've tried raising it, and it just doesn't work for me. It sure does. We're just gonna either change your mindset or your approach, okay? That's all, you guys. Or maybe you're thinking, I don't have any liquidity. So that's another way of saying skin in the game, right? We're always being told, especially by hard money lenders and banks and brokers, you got to have skin in the game, skin in the game, skin in the game. What's that skin in the game? All that means is that they're not going to give you 100% funding. So you got to come to the closing table and cover all your carrying costs. And what I'm going to show you to do is A, show you how to respond to those individuals, and then B, show you how to raise that gap funding in the form of real private money. So what is real private money? We'll get into that in just a second. Maybe you're thinking, I feel bad. Like, I don't want to ask anyone, for money. I don't want them to think that they're doing me a favor. You guys, mindset shift. They're not doing you a favor. You're doing them a favor by allowing them to invest with you. So we'll go through a lot of mindset shifts while we're on this evening. And maybe you thought, I don't know anyone with money. Amy, I get it. I see the power of private money. I don't have any rich friends and family members. I don't know, even above and beyond that, like I don't know anyone with assets or cash. Great, you don't need to. I want to show you how to convert your Uber driver, people at airports, people on airplanes, into private money lenders. And maybe you're thinking, or you've thought, I've got terrible credit. No one's going to lend me money. I've got bad credit, or I've got no credit. Or another common one is this last one, like I don't have the time. I have a lot of investors who come to me for help, and they only have 3 hours a week for their entire real estate business. So that includes marketing for deals, building their power team, raising capital, analyzing deals, everything and anything in between. And there are still ways that we can work backwards and integrate these creative trust and rapport building strategies into your day-to-day lifestyle, so that the minute you leave your house, the next time somebody asks you what you do for a living, you drop into that 4-second power pitch, which we'll get into in just a little bit. So what is private money? So look, I know that there are some of you here who have raised capital, and there are others who have not. And here's what I also know. It's the fundamentals of our business that make us the best. I often share examples about, LeBron, for example. He never stops with the layups. Tom Brady never stops throwing the easy passes. It doesn't matter how good we are. The fundamentals are vital to our business, and that's what makes us the best. That's what sets us apart from others. So what I'm not talking about are 3 things. When I talk to you about private money, I'm not talking about hard money. Now, technically, that's private money. It's private equity. It's a private financial institution that lends on deals. That's not what I'm talking about. I love my hard money lenders. I still work with them. I still take care of them through referrals because they were really there for me in the beginning. But again, that's not the type of private money I'm referring to. I'm also not talking about the investor-friendly credit unions or community banks, let alone banks in general. Not talking about any of that. Lastly, I'm not talking about anyone brokering deals. I broker deals. I teach my students how to broker deals, but that's not what I'm talking about. Nothing is wrong with that either. I'm talking about anyone and everyone who has cash or assets sitting around collecting dust that they may or may not realize that they can leverage from. All right, so that's the kind of private money that I'm referring to. So take a screenshot of this if you would like. It's going to be too much to write down, you guys. This is a private money matrix that I created back in the day, really when I first got started. And I printed this out and I left it right next to my laptop in my office. because this was my reminder to understand who am I targeting versus who I'm not targeting. Let me see your hands in the chat box, thumbs up or a hand wave, if you have received messages on LinkedIn, for example, or even emails from people saying that they are private money lenders. Just click on this link, fill out the application. I already see the hands going up. This is what we'll lend on. These are their rates. All right, cool. I see that. Thank you, you guys. And me too, and I continue to get those messages, okay? So first, the next time you get a message like that, if you're not already clear on this, because I know we're at all different levels, just know that it's either what you see, it's one of the three categories you see on the left side of the screen. It's either a hard money lender, a bank, or a broker. That's not what I'm talking about. When it comes to private money, after you take a screenshot, you can read through the right side of the screen. We are going to dictate the terms of what we're offering. Okay, with private money, it's a cool part of our business model because we set the standards. I'm going to tell them what I'm offering. I don't care what they're offering or what they want. Hey, private money lender, this is the investment opportunity I have for you. Here's what I'm offering. Are you in or not? If you're not in, no problem. I'm going to go wait and talk to the other 15 people knocking on my door who do see the value in working with me. So we're going to always set those standards. I'll tell you what we offer our private money lenders later in the presentation. Also, you guys, when it comes to private money, it doesn't matter what the lien position is. Okay, everyone on the left-hand side of the screen will only lend in a first lien position. Private money will lend in first, second, third, fifth. It doesn't matter. We have to show them how our buying criteria works. We got to take them through all our credibility pieces so they understand our business model. But the lien position doesn't matter as long as we structure the loan documents the right way and we show them the amount of equity in the deal. And then the third thing I wanted to highlight before you go through and read the rest on your own is when it comes to private money, 98% of the time, it's going to be individuals that we are seeking out. They're not going to seek us out. So for example, this is Jamie, and he's so cute. He knows I shared this story. He came to me for help about 1.5 years ago, and he's come a very long way. I'm so proud of him. I see him in all of these masterminds, big names and small names. He's invested very much in his education. And he's still an introvert, but you would never know if you follow him on social media. And all he needed was $30,000 in private money. He has a full-time job. He is an engineer, I believe, in Minneapolis. And I was like, Jamie, you're so cute. Now, for me, it's easy for me to sit here and tell you guys, like, 30,000, you guys can literally raise that in 5 minutes, right? It's easy for me to say that. So what I realized in working with Jamie was his challenge was not knowing how to identify a real private money lender from everyone else. And so that's why I created that matrix for you guys to leverage from. And for him, once he was able to clearly distinguish the differences, he raised not only his first $30,000, but 5 weeks later, he raised an additional $300,000. So again, we're at all different levels, right? And we all have various strengths and weaknesses when it comes to raising capital or networking or building rapport and trust. But once you guys conquer whatever your weakness is in this skill set, it's going to have a snowball effect on everything that you guys are doing. So I always love using this example because when I first got started, every single one of my deals, I would always put my hard money lender in first lien position because I'm like, I don't care about the cost of the money. It's about the availability of the funds. And as a newbie, sure, a hard money lender is going to cover around 70% of your total cost. So what does that mean? So we still have that gap funding. We often hear that term, right? That remaining 30%, but all of our closing costs too. We don't want to forget about that, or our carrying cost, right? That we need to raise in the form of private money. So when we work with hard money, for those of you who may not be familiar with this, we're going to have monthly interest only payments, right? We're going to have points. I don't want to come out of pocket for that. I don't want to come out of pocket for my closing cost. I don't want to come out of pocket for change orders, for my utilities. I want all that to be covered in private money. And I don't want to pay for it out of my own pocket. Some of you who heard me speak, if you were at the Phoenix event I just spoke at, or if you were at Clever Summit, actually, I didn't get into a lot of detail at Clever Summit, but so you may not have heard this. Anytime I accrue chunks of $25,000, I invest it passively in real estate, and I'll show you what I do shortly. So at all times, I have less than $1,500, $1,500 in the bank at all times because I want to invest in real estate. So let's look at this example, which this is uber conservative. So let's just say we put a hard money lender in first lien and all we're borrowing is $100,000, which is nothing. A lot of us can't even do one deal unless it's a $500,000 deal, depending on our market, right? So again, depending on your experience, those of you who don't have a lot of experience, they're going to charge you around 13% annualized plus 3 points. For those of you wondering what a point is, it's just a percent, right? So 3% of the loan amount. For those of you who have experience like myself, I can get hard money loans now that cover around 90% of my total cost. They'll do it at 8 or 9% annualized plus 1 to 2 points, right? So your experience with experience, those terms will get better, but it doesn't matter. We just bake it into the deal. So the cost of that $100,000 with hard money is $16,000 versus private money which is $12,000, right? So what I do and what I show my students to do is offer their private money lenders a 12% annualized return and no points. Sure, 10 years in, can I beat up my private money lenders and get that 12% down to 10? Yeah, sure, but I don't really care. If you guys look at your comparative, your cost benefit analysis, or like I have a property analysis template, 10% annualized versus 12% annualized is nothing. And that's not going to make or break the deal. And if it does, and the deal is way too lean, right? So the cost of this capital there's a $4,000 difference in hard money versus private money. Now, this is just a $100,000 loan, right? So you might be thinking, Amy, it's $4,000, who cares, right? But what if it's a $500,000 loan? Right? That's $20,000 in possible profit in just one deal, right? So what if it's $1 million loan or it's multiple deals? I know a lot of us on today's call have done, and we're doing more than one deal at a time. My very first year, my goal was only 3, and on accident, I did 10 because I just knew how to raise capital. So this is very, very powerful. And this example here, I always like to share because it's an example of my very first deal, which was also my first mistake. This is a condo in downtown Chicago. And it's so funny because some of you know that I'm not only stubborn, but I'm also greedy. I am very open about this. I've come a long way. I still work on it. But on this deal, it was like a 3-week renovation. I net around a $20,000 or $25,000 profit. It was on and off the books in 4 months. And I was so mad because I'm like, I'm only making $20,000. But then I'm like, okay, Amy, this is one of 10 projects. It's literally a 3-week renovation time. Like, who cares? I didn't appreciate that till years later. But some people wonder, like, why was this a mistake if you profited, $20,000? Well, here's what happened. I was brand new. I was building my team, doing all these things that we do. And I understood the power of private money, but I just hadn't prioritized it. So it was time for me to get to the closing table, and I hadn't raised any private money. So I ended up coming to the closing table with money out of pocket. It was around, I don't remember the exact number, but like $40,000 or so of my own money I put into the deal as the gap funding. And then lo and behold, 2 weeks into the renovation, my acquisitions manager came to me and said, Amy, I've got 2 rental properties. You got to buy these. The net cash flow on the low end is $300 a month. Resulting in $600 a month in, positive cash flow. I hadn't prioritized private money. So not only did I not have the money out of pocket to use as the down payment for these rental properties, but I didn't have the scalability to call up a private money lender to be like, hey, give me the down payment for these rental properties. So this was a very big missed opportunity for me. What I didn't touch on earlier is I worked a corporate job for the first 14 years of my career. And when I started my real estate business in downtown Chicago, I was working a full-time job for Dell Computers. I was at Dell for 14 years with an MBA. And when I finally quit my job at Dell, I was making $87,000 a month. I'm sorry, not a month. That would have been great. I wouldn't have quit. A year. So $87,000 a year. And I look back on that and I'm still like, that's crazy. Like 14 years with an MBA, $87,000. On the other hand, there are a lot of people in this country who would love and appreciate that kind of income. right? But for me, 87,000 a year wasn't going to allow me to do the things that I wanted to do. So I share that with you because after all my expenses and all of that stuff at corporate America, I was only bringing home less than $5,000 a month. So seeing this $600 a month missed opportunity was a huge lesson learned for me. And I completely shuffled my mindset, my priorities. And I had two priorities after that. It was finding the deal and raising the money simultaneously, right? So the same way we never want to stop networking and marketing for leads, we don't want to stop networking and marketing for private money, whether you have a deal or not. So I hustled, and was within the first 21 days, that's it, you guys, 3 weeks, having never done this before, I was able to raise almost $400,000 in private money. And what's cool about that is that money went into the very first property that I flipped on HGTV. And to me, that was important. Some of you don't care about TV. Back in the day, that was important for me. So I also hustled because I was like, if I don't get that money, I won't be able to do the show with HGTV. That's a sidebar perk, but I profited just over $62,000 on that deal. I share this with you not to boast about my wins, because I've made a bunch of money, and those of you who know me know I've lost a bunch of money. 2017 was the worst year of my life. I lost $1.4 million. It's a whole nother conversation. So we're going to make money, we're going to lose money, right, you guys? But I share this as a lesson learned. So we want to take all of these big chunks of money that we're making from flips and wholesales and reinvest them passively. So what I did, and what I still continue to do, is I will start to diversify my real estate portfolio. I took a chunk of that $62,000 and I lent it to another credible investor who had a proven track record, who came highly recommended. Don't start lending your money out unless you know the person. And then I took a chunk of it and I bought my very first rental property, which ended up being a 5-unit building in the north side of Chicago. So this is what we want to do when we have money of our own. Okay. This is why the power of private money is endless opportunity. We are literally making an infinite return. We are flipping and wholesaling using other people's money. And then we're taking our money and we're expediting our vehicle to financial freedom by investing it passively. Now, look, maybe there are some of you here today who are thinking, that's amazing, but I don't want to flip. I don't want to wholesale. Okay, don't. If your only focus is to grow your passive income portfolio, then still, why limit yourself to only buying what you can afford to buy based on what you have out of pocket, right? Don't just buy 1 or 2 or even 3 properties a year. Go buy 5 properties tomorrow, assuming it's a good deal, right? When you have access to private money. Like, it's crazy. Go invest in multifamily properties, go syndicate a deal, go invest in commercial properties, go buy an apartment building, go start a fund. There are so many, specifically realtors, contractors, and mortgage brokers who come to me for help because all they want to do is generate referral fees, because they have a lot of investor clients. And so in their mind, they're like, raising money is hard. A lot of people don't do it. So if I can raise money for my investor clients, then that means they can do more deals. And then I can get more, basically what they're thinking is they can get more commission from them, right? They start to grow both of their businesses. And the referral fees are huge, you guys. This is a screenshot of money coming into my actual bank account. These are actually real companies, real people. And I share this with you to show you the power of actually being consistent with a proven system. When I was actually focused on capitalizing on every single relationship that I had nurtured, on every single introduction referral that I had made, at a minimum, I was netting $10,000 a month in just referral fees. Right. So I'm also flipping, I'm wholesaling now, I'm getting referral fees. So there's a lot that we can strategically do in our business to positively impact our bottom line. Now, some of you may be thinking, what am I going to charge for a referral fee? You know, like, I'm just going to be nice and introduce person A to person B. Why? You spent all of this time nurturing your network. Let's talk about private money, just for the sake of this example, right? Vetting that private money lender, getting them to know, like, and trust you, getting them to understand your business model, educating them through all, I have 15 credibility pieces. Like, you should capitalize on an introduction. If I call up Marie and I'm like, hey, I have a deal tomorrow, I'm capped out on private money. Do you know of anyone? And she says, yeah, the other Marie has $100,000 I can't put to work. Hey, Amy, my standard process is, she's not going to ask me for permission. She's going to say, hey, my standard process is a 1% referral fee. Like, are you cool? If Marie ends up investing with you, paying me a 1% referral fee, I'm not going to say no to that because I'm going to have $100,000 in my account tomorrow. I don't care about a 1% referral fee, right? So it's a great way to generate multiple streams of income. Now, here's how we start to make that happen. I remember vividly in 2008 when my retirement account tanked, 50%. And I was very upset with my financial advisor at the time. And it took me several years to actually realize it wasn't his fault. It was my fault because I lacked control, right? When we put our money in the bank or retirement accounts, we don't control the asset. We don't know what they're doing with our money. Somebody right now, I'm actually going to pause the presentation. Somebody Google, what does a bank do with my money? And then unmute yourself and read it to all of us, please. The first person to Google, what does a bank do with my money? Unmute yourself and read it to all of us.
In short, banks don't take the money that you deposit, turn around and loan it at a higher interest rate, but they do use the money you deposit to balance their books and meet the necessary cash reserves that make those loans possible.
Okay, thank you. You're absolutely right. They take the money we put into the bank and they reinvest it and deploy it in real estate, right? So some of you may have heard me joke about that. That's why they have marble floors and the biggest piece of real estate on the block. So, hey, private money lender, be the bank, right? You're going to do exactly what the banks do. And by the way, instead of earning 0.25% interest, I'm going to pay you 48 times the return and it's backed by real estate. So what we do here is we want to start to educate through various credibility pieces to our private money lenders, how we increase control in our real estate business, which in turn reduces our risk. Okay, so hey, private money lender, we increase control because of our strict buying criteria. We increase control because of our target market. We increase control because of our property analysis template. You see every single cost variable I've taken into account for this property, and I show them my potential projected profits. Let them see that I'm going to net 50 grand, 100 grand. And no, they've never come back and said, you're going to make $100,000. I'm going to want more than 12% annualized return. And if they do, I'm not going to say no, right? We don't want to be known as the person that says no. We're just going to say, that's not my standard process. Everyone receives the same rate of return, which is a 12% annualized return backed by real estate. And then we're going to remain silent. Right. So earlier I mentioned I have 15 different credibility pieces. Take them through your contract, take them through your business plan, take them through your org chart. So there are a lot of ways that you can educate them on who you are and what you do, what's in it for them, what's in it for you, to increase control in your real estate business, which in turn reduces their risk and your risk as private money lenders. Now, all that said, there are no guarantees. I'm going to be the first person to straight up tell my private money lender, hey, private money lender, worst case scenario, you have to be okay never seeing that $100,000 again. But the probability of that happening is not likely for these reasons. And it's the credibility pieces. At a minimum, if you're wondering, you want at least 6 credibility pieces. And these are credibility pieces that you'll use as follow-up tactics in your conversations, which I'll get into shortly. You guys, I took this recently off of Google. Take a screenshot if you want, use it in your own private money presentations if you have one. The value of the dollar continues to go down, right? So in 1920, it was $25. It's gone down 25 times since then. 25, well, 100%. It's like, it's insane, right? So, hey, private money lender, because of inflation, which is north of 8%, anytime you have money sitting in the bank, your money is literally dying. Why are you going to sit on money? And to those of you on today's webinar, if you have money in the bank, go invest it passively, lend it to somebody in this group, or go buy another rental property. If you don't have a deal because you're focused on BRRRRs, for example, go buy a turnkey rental, do something and get it out of the bank. Your money is literally dying if it's sitting in the bank. So what I'm going to do for you is take you through at a very high level, my FACT framework. This is a 4-step process. It's my unique methodology in knowing how to get out there and confidently raise money the right way from the right people. Because yes, you guys and girls, you are going to turn away money from people whose ethics and morale does not align with yours. And sure, I might be speaking more so to the ladies in the group based upon experience, but hey guys, there are some weird ladies out there too who may make some indecent proposals, like for real, like the movie that's happened before. So yes, you're going to have more money coming into your business than you need. And yes, you will respectfully turn away private money lenders whose ethics and morale does not align with yours. So we're going to start with building your foundation. What does that mean? We're going to make another mindset shift. So instead of thinking I can't raise private money because I don't have any experience, it doesn't matter. I said that earlier, right? We're going to squash that right now. It becomes I can raise private money by building my foundation first and speaking with confidence. So what does it mean to speak with confidence? This is huge. This is step one of anything you do moving forward. So the way we speak with confidence is my 4-second power pitch. A couple of you may have heard this. I don't even know if I shared this in Vegas, but your 4-second power pitch, later you can download it from my website if you want. I give you guys a video tutorial. It's literally 13 words. If anyone on here has heard my 4-second power pitch, feel free to unmute yourself and share it with everyone. If you remember it, if you don't, it's okay. I wish I had Jeopardy music. Okay.
It's something like I make people double-digit returns that's backed by real estate. Like it's very simple.
And it's a great memory. So yes, thank you, Marie. It's literally 13 words. I show people how to earn double-digit returns backed by real estate. That's it. So what do I mean by, like, what am I going to do? Just go say that to someone? No. So the next time you encounter someone new and they say, oh, hey, like, it's so nice to meet you, Lynn, what do you do for a living? You just drop that 4-second power pitch. Or if you're talking to an old friend or family member, hey, Lynn, what have you been up to? What's new? You can drop that 4-second power pitch, which again is, I show people how to earn double-digit returns backed by real estate. You can, again, download it later from my bio or from my website, and you can implement that starting like tonight. Now, this is something when I worked at Dell Computers that I seriously did this 24/7. And this is step one for all of you, whether you've raised money or not. The minute I would leave my house, anyone I encountered was a prospective private money lender. I seriously converted Larry, a retired physician who was my Uber driver, into a private money lender because we all take Ubers, and I got into the Uber and some of them are more chatty than others. He did ask me what I did for a living. So instead of being like, oh, I work for Dell, but I hate my job and I just hired these coaches and I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm sure I'll figure it out, I confidently said, I show people how to earn double-digit returns backed by real estate. You know, what do you do? It's so nice to meet you. What do you do outside of Uber? And I purposely leave that carrot dangling, right? And then he's going to be like, wait, tell me more. Now, this is something I did 24/7. I never talked about Dell. So for those of you who have another JOB and you're worried about people finding out or you getting fired, you do what makes sense for you. I didn't care if it risked me getting fired. I did not. But this is how you start to plant seeds and raise awareness with anyone and everyone. And I'm talking about people at the cashiers at the grocery store, your neighbors, the mailman, people at church. I mentioned airports and airplanes earlier, sporting events. You got kids, their teachers. I mean, like literally everyone. If you want to target your friends and family members, great. You're going to use the same script. Now, here's what's amazing when you consistently follow this system. I forgot about that. I didn't know that was here. Okay, let's rewind real quickly. So let's say this is actually important. It's in the script you're going to download if you choose to download it. Let's say somebody's like, actually 2 points. For those of you who are experienced investors, let's say you're already running like a successful short-term rental company and that's your strategy. If you want to highlight that as well, that's fine. When somebody says, what do you do for a living? Just say, oh, I specialize in short-term rentals in Joshua Tree, and I show people how to earn double-digit returns backed by real estate. Okay, if you want to start to highlight other parts of your business. If you don't have a strategy yet, or if you haven't done deals yet, just stick to the 4-second power pitch. Now, when someone says, ooh, what do you mean? Tell me more. That's the 20-second follow-up. Oh, I'm a residential redeveloper based out of downtown Chicago. This is all scripted for you guys. And, we currently renovate about 10 homes a year, and our investors love it because they get to kick back and relax while we do all the work, and they earn, double digits with a protected, secured, and insured asset. What was it that you said that you do again? It's so nice to meet you. So that's the 20-second follow-up. And then I would stop. If anyone wants to know more information, then you schedule a coffee talk and you take them through your credibility pieces. Look at the post I got from TJ on the upper left-hand side of the screen. For those of you who are at Clever Summit, TJ took my 4-second power pitch. We had never even met in person. He dropped it on somebody at the blackjack table. That weekend, he raised $450,000. He'd never done this. And he's a seasoned expert real estate investor. All right. So Dean on the bottom left-hand side of the screen, he came to one of my private money workshops. And after implementing this strategy, he locked up $1 million. It's crazy, right? So because you don't know who you might be talking to. You may be talking to someone who will invest immediately because they get it, right? They're in the same circle as us. Or it may take a few follow-ups because they've never done this before. The number one reason why everyone in this country does not act as a private money lender, assuming that they're in a position to invest, is because they're simply not educated on the process, right? So let's get out there and educate them just the same way I'm educating you. So that's the main takeaway of building your foundation, is implementing that 4-second power pitch 24/7. So how do we continue to grow our prospects of private money lenders above and beyond that 4-second power pitch? So we're going to make another mindset shift. So instead of thinking I can't raise money because I don't know anyone with money, it becomes I can raise money because I have steps. I have a system, and I know how to identify private money lenders. So I gave you that private money matrix earlier, use that. And so what are the steps and systems we want to implement? What I'm going to give you guys right now are 1 or 2 steps out of my 7-step email list builder. This is huge. This is something I have, where is it? So my online training is 9 modules. This is in module 2, I think. By the end of module 2, if you follow this 7-step process, you'll have a minimum of 100 credible private money lenders on your list. So for the sake of time, I'll give you a couple right now. Take a screenshot of this and I'll explain while you're doing that. At the bottom of your email signature and in your cell phone, do you know how we have a signature in our phone? Add this sentence: interested in learning how you can earn double-digit returns secured by real estate? Just reply back and let me know. I'm an emoji girl. Like, if you don't text me with emojis and 500 exclamation points, I'm going to think you're mad at me. So I'm going to always add emojis to my stuff. If that's not your style, don't do it. Okay. So this, what looks like a business card at the bottom of the screen. Now my call to action today is different. I don't need to add this at the bottom of my email signature because I can now pick up the phone and have as much money as I want. So my call to action is different. I'm raising awareness about my coaching program, but that's where it's going to go. It's going to go under your picture, under your contact info, in case you're wondering. If you have questions, put it in the chat box. And it's funny because when Maurice came to me for help, he's a seasoned creative financing sub 2 investor based out of Denver, Colorado. And I was like, Maurice, what do you need my help for? Like, you've done so many creative deals. And he's like, I know, but I want to grow and scale and I want to do more deals. He had never raised money before. He didn't know what to say to people. in just 3 months of implementing this strategy, combined with the few others that I gave him, he went from 0 private money lenders to 45. And that equated to over $750,000 in private money. He took that to buy a 20-unit apartment building, some of it, to buy a 20-unit apartment building in Cleveland, Ohio, right? And now his kids and his niece and nephew are integrated into the business, right? So go back to one of the speakers who spoke at the event I was at this past weekend, really reminded us to tap into our why. I don't do that as much as I probably should, and I don't talk about it. So again, you guys, are you meeting your goals right now, even exceeding them? Sure. But what would life look like if you could raise more and do more? Could we serve more? Could we give back more? Could we have more life experiences? You know, it's just whatever makes sense to you. So I thought I had a second step in, let me see something. I'm going to actually jump ahead really quick. So I want to make sure I'm going to give you one more strategy on that 7-step process. So this is one of the 7 steps. Now, here's the other thing you can do. You can do a texting campaign, and that's not in here. Actually, you know what? Let me just pull it up, because I actually think I just want to give it to you. It's pretty amazing. I did this at Justin's event. Take a screenshot of this, you guys. This is insane. No, not that. This. I wasn't planning to show this to you, but whatever. Take a screenshot of this and I'll explain as we go. I'm still getting text messages from people at the Scottsdale event I was just at, telling me that the yeses are flooding in from people who want to invest or who know people to invest. So this is a part of that list builder that I just showed you. Later, take this script and text the last 50 people, do 5 a day if you want, starting tomorrow. This script, but make it your own if you would like. Again, this is how I talk. Hey, quick question. I'm in the middle of raising capital for my real estate business, and I'm offering investors double-digit returns backed by real estate. Are you okay with me adding you to my email list for project updates only? I make it very clear that I'm not going to spam them, because I don't. A lot of my friends, and I love them, they'll hit you up with like 15 emails a day through their automation. I love you guys too. It's annoying. I don't like it. That's not how I roll. Bryant, if you're on, that's why I was so weary about like giving you my email information the other day and opting into that website. So I make it very clear that I'm not going to spam you with a bunch of stuff. Side note, in case you know of anyone who may be interested in investing, I also pay referral fees. Let me know and thank you. So this is just how I talk. Fine tune it, make it your own. We did this. I put 10 minutes on the timer at the event I was just at in Scottsdale. The biggest quote unquote winner of this challenge was Mark and his wife or fiance Ashley. In 10 minutes, they got 9 yeses. 9 yeses in 10 minutes. So take this, I'm giving it to you. I recently started joking about don't be an ask hole. I got to put a picture of that on here, right? Somebody who asks 100 questions, wants advice, and then you don't take it. I've been doing this for 10 years. I got plenty of weaknesses. I'm good at raising money. This works, you guys. Take it, implement it, do it. You guys will see results. So that is a second step, or 2 of the 7 steps in this email list builder that I wanted to share with you. So now what I'm going to do is move into step 3 of my fact framework. Keep your questions coming into the chat box. We are doing fine on time. Yeah. Credibility. So, all right, where do we go from here? How do I get this off? All right, one second, you guys. We're going to make another mindset shift. Instead of thinking I can't get 100% of funding because I need skin in the game, doesn't matter, you guys. It becomes I can raise money because I know how to nurture my network. This is your follow-up system. This is not just an email automation. There's a lot that goes into taking care of your private money lenders and staying in front of them, right? And I know how to protect, secure, and insure my investors. Earlier in the 20-second follow-up, it ended with yada, 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 double-digit returns with a protected, secured, and insured asset. If you're dropping those 3 words, you better know what they mean. You better know how to explain them. You better know how to show them what contracts correlate to those 3 terms. So as you start to get these yeses, whether it's through the texting campaign, whether it's through your email signature, whether it's through your 4-second power pitch that I gave you, I think all of you have, through all the various educational programs you're a part of, a standard private money presentation. Take your private money presentation. This is step 2. Okay, so step 1 is consistently dropping that 4-second power pitch. What do you do next? People are saying they're interested. Step 2, in order to start to build your credibility with them, is taking them through a very high level, you guys, overview of your private money presentation. This is not an hour. This is 30 minutes. And by the way, in that 30 minutes, you're still giving them time to talk. Yes, you can do this in a group setting. Yes, you can do it in a one-on-one setting. Yes, if you want to strategically target your friends and family members without them knowing, you can get all of them together and say, hey, you guys, I've got a meeting tomorrow. I want to practice my private money presentation on you. Come over, I'll give you guys, I'll make dinner. And now, you're indirectly targeting people in your inner circle if that's important to you. I touched on this very briefly. If you don't know what to put into a private money presentation, you don't have one, take what I asked you to Google earlier. Show them what banks offer, right? Some of your private money lenders are going to be more visual than others. So write out the numbers. In your market, if the average deal is 200,000, then make this example 200,000. Or if the average investor or private money lender you're finding has about 50,000 to invest, then adjust these numbers. But on average, you guys, I always like to show my private money lenders this page. Hey, you put 100,000 in the bank, and best case scenario, you earn 1%, great. That's $1,000 in a year. You can earn 12 times the amount if you invest it with me, and it's backed by real estate. And by the way, I have way more control in my real estate business than a bank does, right? It's just ongoing education. These are messages and DMs and texts I got from some of my students who consistently implemented this private money presentation, which some of you already have, and started to raise capital. Let me see if I can move. This one's, oh, never mind. Actually, I want to read this one to you because this one's pretty cool. I was talking to my buddy Josh earlier today, who played football for Army, on the bottom right-hand side of the screen. And he sent me a text message. He's a new real estate investor, and he lacked a lot of confidence. So he goes, hey, check your email. We crushed this investor meeting last night because of your help. An Army football guy who he was talking to, one of them just exited a $1.6 billion company. The investor package should look similar. $1.6 billion. And Josh took my private money presentation that's 18 pages long and pitched it to him. And the guy wants to talk about investing with him, right? So it's very, very powerful. There's a lot that you guys can do. So with the credibility pieces, make sure you have a minimum of 6. And again, I have no more than maybe 15 or 16. And here's what you want to do. Earlier, I said use those credibility pieces as your touch points to follow up with your audience. So let's say you drop a 4-second power pitch. Someone says, yeah, Steph, I want to learn more about what you're doing. Great. Next week, you have a coffee talk. You take them through your private money presentation. Well, then what? It's going to take more than one meeting for most of us to raise private money, again, depending on who our audience is. Well, we want to follow up with them. So here's what I do if you're taking notes. 7 days after my private money presentation. Now, if they're not local, you guys do it via Zoom. If they're local, I like to meet in person. So 7 days later, I'll call them. I'm not going to email them. I'm not going to text them. Hey, so-and-so, I just wanted to circle back with you. Do you have any questions on the private money presentation? They may or may not. And then you're going to say, awesome. By the way, I have the contracts, or I have my property analysis template, or I have my list of frequently asked questions, whatever. Do you want me to send that over? Because more than likely, they're going to tell you like they're still interested. They want to learn more, right? So then that's when you drop your next credibility piece on them. And then in credibility piece number 2, I'm okay emailing and then just like following up later with a phone call to go through Q&A. But here's the great news, you guys. If you consistently implement this 4-step process, you've built your foundation, you're dropping that power pitch, you continue to take action. And I just shared 2 strategies with you to take action to build your list of private money lenders. There's more you want to do, but you're growing and building that, portfolio, that Rolodex. And you've got your ducks in a row, you've got your credibility pieces customized, and you're actually introducing them to your private money lenders, the transactions will follow. So what I mean by transactions is you're going to get a private money lender to invest with you. So once that happens, there are two things you want to do. Number one, you want to focus on continuing to nurture that relationship, whether the project is going good or bad. We're still going to keep them updated through monthly investor updates, so that number one, they reinvest with you, and number two, they increase their investment amount. Okay, so this is my 4-step process. This is my fact framework. Implement it, be consistent, and you guys will start to see results. So now what? Where do we go from here? So look, there are some people on today's call who are going to say, that's awesome. You guys are going to take what I've given you and you're going to start to implement it, and you're going to start to see results. I may start getting messages from you as well saying I'm getting my yeses. So start to implement that. Texting campaign is very, very powerful. But ask yourself, you guys, like, what if you set a goal to raise your first 100,000 in just 3 weeks? If you've raised money before, add 20% to that, right? In just 3 weeks. And if you could raise 100,000, then how much more can you raise? Right? What would your business look like? What would your personal life look like? And here's an even better question. What if I helped you? And I literally held your hand every step of the way. So for those of you who want to take what I've given you and test and measure and start seeing results, that's great. I know a lot of people who will take it, they'll implement it, they'll read some books, they'll listen to podcasts, and then I may or may not ever hear from them again. And for those of you who want help, feel free to reach out to me. I do have a coaching program. I'd be more than happy to talk to you about my done for you private money coaching program, which gives you lifelong access to my online training and to weekly calls with me. Here's how you can get a hold of me. If you scan this QR code, it goes straight to my Instagram. I don't outsource any of my social media, you guys. It's a direct line to me. Send me a DM, hit me up, and I'd be more than happy to answer your questions, whether it's about today's content, depending on how much time we have to get through questions, or questions on my coaching program. All right. So I'd be more than happy to stick around. I see a bunch of comments in the chat box. I don't know if they're questions. Marie, how are we doing on timing expectations on your end?
I think we're good. If we want to open it up to questions, I actually posted a couple questions in the chat.
Okay.
Look.
Yeah. Do you want to?
Yeah, I'll read off some of the questions in the chat to you. I'll go back. I know there was a question on those 6 credibility pieces, but I know that you said that there's more than 6. So maybe could you list like the top 6 or some other, just give us what those credibility pieces are?
Yeah, it's just anything that you guys use. It's the foundation of your business, right? So it's like the private money presentation is just one, but what is your buying criteria? So maybe you have a business plan, or maybe it's your, I have a property analysis template. So it's a 1-page, very detailed, cost benefit analysis that I use to analyze all my wholesale deals and fix and flips, or maybe it's all the contracts that you guys use. Or maybe it's, I have a 6-page list of frequently asked questions that I've compiled from day one, 10 years ago to today, from people like my Uber driver to hedge fund managers straight out of Wall Street. So there's a lot that you could use to educate your audience on who you are and what you do and what's in it for them and what's in it for you, and turn that into a credibility piece.
Yeah, no, I like that, because like you were saying just now, a lot of it is stuff that you already have, but you're not thinking about it in that way, right? Like your deal analyzer, like if you're just showing them that, even the repair estimate, like some certain tools that you just use every day, if you just put it in a format that's presentable, right? That's credibility now. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, how much do you charge for referrals?
So my standard process is, it'll depend on the deal, if I do a JV or if it's a big chunk of money, but normally it's 1%. So 1% of the loan amount. And then depending on whether you're a realtor or a mortgage broker, if you have certain licenses, there are ways that we'll quote unquote invoice and categorize that referral fee so that it's all legal and ethical.
Nice. What do you do if you have lenders but not enough deals? Do you just refer that out to other people with referral fees, or do you
Yeah,
like
that's a great question. One of my students, who's also a friend of mine, called me yesterday and he goes, Amy, I got 300 grand. That one of my private money lenders wants to invest with me, but I don't have a deal locked up. And I was like, Rigo, just take that to our community and tell our community, I got 300,000. You know, there are a handful of people who I would tell them to lend it to. But yeah, start introducing your private money lenders. If you can't put their money to work, to somebody who you know, like, and trust, who can put it to work and take a referral fee off of it. And does that mean if you lock up a property tomorrow, then you're, out of luck? Yeah, sure. But this is why we never stop networking for private money lenders. And if you're consistently getting deals every 3 to 4 weeks, then just take the money and hold on to it and start to accrue the interest and pay them 3 to 4 weeks worth of interest if you know you'll have a deal within 30 days.
right. One of the other questions from Leslie is, how do you get past the skin in the game requirement? I'm assuming he's talking about hard money lenders that are saying you have to have skin in the game.
Yeah, that's a great question. So normally what I do, it's just a matter of us explaining to them what our standard process is. Hey, no problem, HML or whatever. Just tell me what you're comfortable investing. And just so you understand, my standard process is the difference that you're not going to lend me, I will bring to the closing table in the form of private money. Are you, so are you comfortable, or are you okay with me recording a second lien behind you? Because just like you have to protect your investors, I have to protect my investors. Some hard money lenders will say no, and they will not allow you to record a second lien. My advice to you is find another hard money lender.
Yeah, I like that. I think most out there will. But yeah, anybody who's got other questions, please unmute. Was that Leslie, were you unmuting there for a sec? Thought I heard a voice.
Hi, could you remind me what that first mindset shift was? I was taking snapshots, but I couldn't. It says I can raise private money by building something, 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 and there was
Yeah, sure. Yep, it just says by building my foundation first and speaking with confidence. And so that's why I gave you the 4-second power pitch script. Now, there are a lot of scripts. I have over 70, right? So it depends on where you are in your business, who you are, who your audience is. But really make sure, you guys, before you start having a bunch of meetings, that you're very confident in who you are and what you're doing, and you really know your role. Because if anybody you encounter senses any sort of timidness or uncertainty in your voice, you've lost that person. They're not going to invest with you. So confidence and being able to articulate that confidently is very important. Even though you may not know what to do next, that's when you call up your coach and you're like, oh my God, they just said this, what do I do? I'm all about, some people are not fake until you make it. Don't ever lie, but that's why you have this community, right? Lean on your community for additional support behind the scenes.
Yeah, and I just want to add, when we were talking about hard money lenders, like I have one hard money lender that once I gave them a copy of my promissory note and the second lien, they were like, oh, we just consider that a JV and that's fine. So some of them, I think, even if you put joint venture agreement instead of promissory note on the top of your, paperwork, they're okay with that. So definitely try and be creative with the way you talk to them about that. One of the other questions in here was, what's the biggest amount that you've ever raised? Brianna's got a $30 million development in LA County.
3 million from one person.
That's nice. 3 million from one person, Brianna. So you can raise 30 million from 10 people. Yeah. Hang out with Amy.
Hi, Marie. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry about that. We've had some difficulty before. Thanks for the answer to the first question. That was exactly what I was asking for. I had another question. If you're, I guess, new to the game and you're not quite comfortable giving up that W-2 job, paying all the bills and you're transitioning in, how do you gain that confidence and get to the point? Because the deals you're doing are slow, and I guess that's what I consider far in between. to that, not doing a deal every 3-4 weeks, but
Yeah,
to get that private money.
I mean, but like, so I started out doing this while I was working a full-time corporate job and, 40 hours a week. So that's okay. Hopefully you're looking for deals, which means if you're looking for deals, that means you know how to analyze a deal. So that should give you a lot of confidence in being able to explain to a private money lender. You're not going to say, as you're building rapport and trust, like, I don't have any deals right now. You're going to say, hey, as you know, we're always putting in offers. We're always looking for deals. They don't need to know that you're working another job or that you haven't done a deal yet. We're always looking for deals. Let me know what amount you're comfortable investing so that I don't waste your time. And I call you when I find the next deal that makes sense. But this is why you have a coach, right? Get a coach then. And let your coach do all the heavy lifting and hold your hand every step of the way.
Thank you.
Mhm.
There's another question from Brianna about your coaching program comes with a community. I guess if your coaching program comes with.
Oh yeah. I always say it's the 3 C's. It's the curriculum. So the online training, which is over, the done for you, over 70 script, system, strategies, all my credibility pieces, all my contracts, all my presentations, blah, blah, blah. The community, which is our private Facebook group, and then the live coaching, which is every week. And that's all lifetime access. It doesn't expire, which good luck finding that somewhere else. As far as the lifetime coaching is concerned, no one does it. So
Right.
you get that with me.
I have a question.
Mhm.
As a coach, do you help with other things besides raising private money? Like, do you help with the credibility packets and, whatever else?
Yeah, I mean, it's as long as it pertains to private money. Yeah, the private money credibility packets I do. But naturally, we always help each other and support each other in the community on anything in our real estate business. I just don't like to commit to that because it is a private money coaching program. But sure, my students have access to, all of my team members. We share resources, we collaborate. I just don't like to say that that's included because it is a private money coaching program. Emma, you can come here, honey.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, no worries.
All right, who's got some last minute questions for Amy here? And look at that beauty. Was that Emma? Is that what I heard?
Hey, hi, honey. Okay. Any other questions? Look at this here.
I mean, we got over 30 people on here right now, and it's a very quiet group, which surprises me.
Surprises me too.
I'm like, we're usually pretty chatty.
Must have been very clear and concise.
She covered it all.
Or you're all hitting me up on my DMs right now.
Right? What's up, Lynn? You unmuted. You got a question?
Well, first of all, I wanted to just say thank you, Amy. As a fortune builder, I wish I would have tapped into your knowledge as a coach back in the day. Anyway, my question was, how do you figure out the gap funding on a project? So you've got your hard money lender, and then what do you figure out that what you need? What's your parameters for that?
Very good question. That's a great question. So I use my deal or my property analysis template. So that's my detailed cost benefit analysis. And I just plug in all the numbers, right? So these are all my expenses. Here's what my hard money lender will fund. So what's the difference? And then I count up my monthly carrying costs, and I just use my deal analyzer to figure it out.
So how far out do you do for extras? So like, say your project, you're shooting for 4 months with 2 months to sell. How much longer do you take it out? Do you figure out maybe a couple extra months of carrying costs, or
just whatever my monthly holding period is in my deal analyzer. So I've already buffered that to take into account market fluctuations and things like that. So whatever my holding period is the number of months I'll multiply my monthly carrying cost by.
Okay, and then how much do you try to keep up front for, like, say, the start of the rehab, and then it flows into, then you're paying for your carrying costs once you get that money from the
Well,
hard
all
money?
of the gap funding just sits in a third-party escrow account. So it's all just there and you just pull from it as needed, as your expenses come up.
Okay,
Well, I
okay.
guess though, in Lynn's case, she might even be asking if you're dealing with a hard money lender that's giving you rehab funds, but those are in escrow and you can't pull that money out until like you've shown some work and you're doing draws with your hard money lender. So Lynn, like for me, I just account for that first draw. So if I know that I'm gonna have like do $10,000 worth of work before I ask for a draw, then I'm gonna get that extra 10,000 from my private money lender so that I have the cost of it up front and then I get it, back.
Right.
I actually personally at this point, I prefer not to get rehab funds from my hard money lender because they are a little bit more of a pain in the butt to work with the draws and wait for them and that kind of stuff. So I'd rather get my hard money lender gives me 90% of my purchase price and then I get that extra 10% and the rehab from my private lender.
Okay, good to know, good to know.
I choose to do it that way. It's
Yeah.
easier than waiting for draws because then that money, they actually title disperses that to me at closing. So then that's all already in my bank account and I can start using it for the rehab as soon as I need it.
Right, okay, yep. And then just wanted to say too, Amy and Jose Vega say hi to Amy.
That's
They
cute.
are, yep, they are my private money lender for the deal that I'm closing tomorrow in Phoenix. That
Oh,
Steph,
that's amazing.
yep, and so Steph is on the call too, and she's part of the team in Phoenix, so
Oh, I love
it's-
that. That's so
yep.
funny.
it's all about community.
Right, it is.
Yep,
Well,
yep.
hello, thank you for that.
Yeah, you bet, you bet.
All right, I see two more questions here in the chat right now. So one is, can you talk more about holding only 1,500 at a time in liquid cash? What about reserves? I think you mentioned during your presentation before.
I do not care. That's why I have real estate. That's my reserve. I need money, I go liquidate a property. So that's just me.
And that's funny that you say that because I heard somebody else talking about how like they never want to have a lot of money like in their bank account. I think it was at the Avengers Mastermind, Ryan Stewman was talking about how like I deploy the money as soon as I can so that when I look at my business bank account, I never see a lot of money there because then it makes me like I got to go back to work. I got to keep working, right?
Yeah, that's funny. That's what my husband says too.
Yeah. Sarah wants to know, how do you deal with PML that want to lend, but they're not okay with the second position? Like the PML is not okay with being in second position.
Yeah, my response is, that's not my standard, or no, I'm sorry. My response is, hold on, please. So what I'll do is I'll show them my property analysis template. Thanks, babe. And I'll just say, look, here's the equity. So, whether you're in first, second, or third lien, it doesn't matter. Everyone gets the same rate of return. Let me know if you're interested or not. Like, I don't convince anyone. I don't have time for that. Are you in or not? Like, I'm going to move on to the next person. And no one's actually ever said no to second, third, or fourth lien because, again, we're doing such a good job of educating them on who we are and what we do, showing them the deal. Sometimes I'll sign a personal guarantee and then they like that. Don't do that if you're not comfortable doing it because yes, it exposes you personally. But at the end of the day, I don't care. I shouldn't be raising money if I don't know what I'm doing. I've lost money. I've liquidated my retirement account. I've sold rental properties. I've put lenders on payment plans. You don't have to do that if you structure the deal the right way. That's just something I chose to do.
Question, with inflation, how are you handling that as you're planning projects? With the private money, 12 months out, whatever else?
I don't
Worry about it.
I don't care, no, because you're not,
Inflation is enough equity enough in the
that's
project.
not gonna make or break the deal. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna go buy 10 $1.2 million properties right now. Maybe I'll do $1 million property and a bunch of low to middle income properties, right? I still want to be strategic with my buying criteria because we are seeing these shifts. But yeah, I don't worry about that.
One other thing that I want to say too, and it's just because it's come up for me a lot lately with people, is like, we're all real estate people and we've all been taught, like, go to all these meetup events, right? Meet other real estate people and network. But sometimes you will find it, I think, harder to raise funds within the real estate community because there's so many people that are doing the same thing you're doing, right? Or trying to raise money for their own deals. So like my just little tidbit and piece of advice of everyone is like, go join other communities, right? Like go network with people that are not in real estate. My best private money lenders and my first lenders were people that actually I worked with in my engineering career. Because at lunchtime, I'd be talking about the properties that I'm flipping and showing them before and after pictures. And then I'm like, oh yeah, now I learned that I can, show you how to make double-digit returns by lending me money on these deals. And then they were like, wait, what? So I kind of used that without knowing that I was using that pitch, Amy. But, people that are in other careers that don't know about this, those are going to be the best private lenders.
No, that's a great point. That is one of my strategies. Like, stop limiting yourself to networking with real estate professionals. Thank you. That's great.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else? I want to let Amy get back to that beautiful baby girl. Was her name Emma? Is that what I heard you say?
Yeah.
Emma, so sweet.
Amy,
Come on,
thank
guys.
you. It was awesome. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys. And I see thank you. I see the comments in the chat box. Thank you guys. And again, just my Instagram handle is right here on my Zoom screen. So if you have any questions, comments, let me know, send me a DM. I'll respond within 24 hours. I'm always sharing investment strategy. So feel free to connect with me there. And I look forward to reconnecting with all of you. And thank you, Marie. This was awesome. And I look forward to seeing you at an event soon.
Yes, I'm definitely sure that we will catch up again soon. All right, guys. So thank you, Amy. I'll let you jump off. If anybody has any other questions for me, obviously reach out to Amy, find out about her coaching program. I encourage everyone to join that. She's amazing. But if you guys have any other questions for me or just want to chat, let me know. I think our next meetup is at a property. Let me double check.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye,
Night.
Amy. We are taking off for 4th of July, everybody. 4th of July next week. No meetup. Just double checking my calendar over here.
You're presenting tomorrow, aren't you?
Tomorrow,
I am presenting tomorrow. So anyone who's in the Scottsdale area that wants to come to the buy and hold event, that's at the Scottsdale Realtor. It's at venue 8600. Up in Scottsdale. I was posting about that. So anybody who's local that wants to come, I would love to see you guys there. It's going to be a fun
What time is it?
It starts at 4 p.m. I don't know what time I'm presenting, but it's from 4 to 7 p.m.
And we will still register, Mary? for
Sorry.
the event? Sorry, can we still register for the event?
Yes, you can still register for the event. It is a free event. I think you should see the links on Facebook. If you don't see the link for some reason and you need it, let me know. They also let you just walk in at the event, so you don't necessarily have to register. So if you don't see the event, it's like Eventbrite or something, is it? Then you can just go. I'll give you it in the chat. It's venue 8600. Which is, I think, the Scottsdale Board of Realtors office, but I will put it in the chat. So 8600 East Anderson Drive in Scottsdale. So anyone that wants to come to that tomorrow, I will be on a panel with a few other ladies all talking about real estate and work-life balance kind of stuff. So that'll be fun.
I just posted the link in the event for tonight, so
Oh, sweet.
anybody can go look at it as well if you're RSVP to tonight's event.
Sweet, sweet. Yeah, and then I will be actually traveling a lot in July. We're probably going to skip a couple weeks in July. I'm at master practitioner training for NLP at the end of the month. Well, middle to the end. I'm actually gone from July 16th to August 2nd. So that is a big 2.5 weeks of travel for me.
Where are you?
I'm going to be in Atlanta
Oh,
for NLP master practitioner training. So I'll come back with lots of new tips and tricks and, you know, Houdini mindset stuff I'm going to use on all of you guys. All right, so I'm gonna head off here soon unless anybody has any other questions. I love you guys. I'm so glad so many people showed up to hear from Amy. She's incredible. I hope we're all raising, you know, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars here.
Hey,
Yes. Hi, Karina.
how are y'all?
Good. How are you?
Very good, very blessed to hear and to, I got a lot out of this, you know, and I'm grateful that for you and for our presenter. And I'm looking to do JVs and work and learn
Awesome. Where are you located?
in Texas.
Okay. Awesome. I know George was on here earlier. George is in Texas too. Where are you at in Texas?
An hour away from Dallas.
Okay. Sweet. Well, welcome to our group. You know, just get on the calls. Definitely, you know, just start networking with some people. And you heard them earlier talking about their project that's closing tomorrow. You know, Stephanie Vaughn is working with Lynn and them from out of state. So just keep networking and find the right people and JV, get some deals done.
I sure will. I'll call you and connect with you later. I had some questions that I think I probably missed because I came in kind of late.
No problem.
Okay.
And I will be posting a replay of this. Speaking of which, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording now.